Yeah. You think this life is cool and everything is rosy. Slowly, you realize that everybody's phony. I know what the situation is, low-key. Too many bragging hard about participation trophies. I found the truth in everything that it brings. Man, it hits too close to home when I watch a million little things. You see, they get upset when you're no longer on a string, and show their truest colors when you go and spread your wings. Yo, all of a sudden they're falling through with their agreements. I ain't stupid, they jealous of my achievements, and they only call on me when in need or it's convenient. That's why I cut niggas off for the mistreatment, yo. If I love you, I give you my right hand, no question. I give you my word as a man. I got the biggest heart and it's something I can't stand. Cause niggas take advantage first chance that they can, man. Let's go, yeah. Yo, I got a heart of gold and never been a hater. Did things for niggas that would never return the favor, yo. See how they get when the album goes live. I've been rapping for years, since a kid in 05. They wanna go for the ride, but they ain't got no drive. Man, that shit is so jive, could never be one of you guys. Look, you took me for granted right before you lost me. I'm like a roller both ways before you cross me, yeah. Man, this shit is so whack, and it had to be you to stab me right in the back. It made such an impact when you disappeared and got ghost. You wasn't there when I needed you the most, yeah. Let's go, yeah. Yeah. I tried to find my friends, but they're blown in the wind. I tried to find my friends, but they're blowing in the wind. I tried to find my friends, but they're blowing in the wind. I'm trying to find my friends, but they're blowing in the wind. You think this life is cool and everything is rosy. Slowly, you realize that everybody's phony. I know what the situation is, low-key. Too many bragging hard about participation trophies. I found the truth in everything that it brings. Man, it hits too close to home when I watch a million little things. You see, they get upset when you're no longer on a string, and show their truest colors when you go and spread your wings, yo. All of a sudden they're falling through with their agreements. I ain't stupid, they jealous of my achievements, and they only call on me when in need or it's convenient. That's why I cut niggas off for the mistreatment, yo. If I love you, I give you my right hand, no question. I give you my word as a man. I got the biggest heart and it's something I can't stand. Cause niggas take advantage first chance that they can, man. Let's go, yeah. Yo, I got a heart of gold and never been a hater. Did things for niggas that would never return the favor, yo. See how they get when the album goes live. I've been rapping for years, since a kid niggas talking love a mess. Niggas tripping, be my guest. They all act like I was less, did more for them than they attest. I'm a beast, I beat my chest. Beat you down, I beat the rest. They just mad, they be depressed. I'm about to fucking flex. After me, nobody next. Running lap, nobody stretch. Overlapping niggas best. I'm bugging out, I be's a pest. I can't feel I breathe success. I can't feel you'll be impressed. There's so much to be addressed. Why should I when I am blessed? Good enough ain't good enough when good enough could be better. Yeah, I'd rather be the best, but y'all be good enough together. Everybody wants smoke until they get the smoke's that simple. Fuck around and get smoked in.
I was feeling that. What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. What's going on? Another show. Thank you guys for joining tonight. We are Recipe for Intentionality. We are back for another great cook-up. This is a great cook-up tonight. Hope you guys are ready. We got a special one tonight. Zoe, what is this? Our eighth episode?
8. Yeah, number 8.
Number 8.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. We're knocking them out. We got a great guest tonight. Yep. So we appreciate all the love and support. So you guys already know the rundown. This is a platform to promote everyday people, the small business owner, entrepreneur, independent artist. We are here to create more visibility to your brand, promote your brand, bring more traffic to your business, music, etc. We are intentional in adding the most value to you and your business the best way that we can. So let's talk about your recipe to success. So you already know who I am. FU Music, you know what I mean? Got my mans, Zoe. What's going on, bro?
What's poppin', man?
What's poppin'? Another show. Let's go. So so let's get to it. So our guest is the author of the new book, The Green, the fiction book about the environment. If nothing else, is very original. She is a speech language pathologist starting a teletherapy practice. She has worked with numerous deficits as well as accent modification and gender affirming voice therapy. And she also speaks Russian and French fluently in addition to English. She is passionate and driven to bring her clients evidence-based practice for all speech, language, swallowing, voice, cognition, as well as general communication needs. Her goal is to connect with clients of all ages and find the best approach that works for them. We are honored and grateful to welcome Asya Krengauz to the podcast. Let's give it up. What's up, Asya?
Oh, hi.
What's
Thanks
up?
for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That bio is a mouthful, though. I gotta change that. That's too much.
Oh no. It's about you, so we gotta represent. You know what I'm saying? We gotta represent
Thank you.
So
Yes.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, thank you again for joining us tonight. So let's get into it. So like we were saying, speech language pathology. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about this and what event or experience led you into this field.
Ooh, this is yet another, I guess, original story. So I guess original is like the key theme here. So I am, yes, a speech language pathologist. Most people know us as speech therapists. And most people are like, I talk really well, I'm good. And I'm like, that's great. What's your point? So we cover like from birth to like geriatrics. We do swallowing, we do voice, we do all sorts of communication that people don't think of. Obviously swallowing isn't communication, but it's one of the things that we do. And so how did I get into it is I had no idea what I wanted to do because I have a lot of passions. In general, like I love languages, I love traveling, I love writing. Like, what are you going to do with your life? You do actually need to make money. So after college, I had no idea. I wasted college. Like, it sucks. I totally wasted college. I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison and I did international studies, international studies and French, which I do love, but it's not really like a major. I never meant to get the French credit or the major. I just went to France for a year. So I had so many French credits that I just added it. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I went to China for 2 years after I graduated to Shanghai, China, just because, again, I love to travel. I wanted to learn Chinese. So I do speak some Chinese. It's just not fluent. So I would never like do therapy in Chinese, but I can speak some Chinese, which is, I think, pretty cool. And I actually met my first speech therapist ever of my life in China. And she was from Israel, and she was there with her husband, and she had like no interest in being there, but she had a job. And I was like, well, how do you have a job? You didn't even come here for you. And she's like, oh, it's so easy with this profession. And so I was like, wait, stop, tell me more. And that's all I really wanted to know is like, you can go anywhere and find a job. She's like, yeah. Okay, what do you do? Well, I help kids and adults communicate. She worked with kids in particular, and she loved her job. And she like bought games and stuff. And I was like, this is for your job. She's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, I got to find out more about this. So I looked into it, and I was really intimidated because it's really hard to get into a school. There are only a handful, not handful, but there are not too many schools to get into. It's very, very competitive. And so I put it off for like a few years. And then at some point I was like, this is just stupid. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And then I went into study, and thankfully it worked out. And I got a second bachelor's, because you have to have a bachelor's in communication disorders to get in, and then you have to have a master's for it, which is a lot of money, and that's another story. But it was, I mean, for me, it was worth it because it's my career and I love it, and there's so much you can do with it. So that's how I ended up in speech therapy. Wow. That's all. Yeah, sorry about that. Long-winded story.
That's great. That's an incredible story.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you something. So what qualifies somebody as having a speech disorder?
Speech or communication?
Communication, speech, yeah.
Okay. Speech is different. So speech could be something very simple, like what people think of the stereotype is somebody can't pronounce the R sound or something, or like the Z, or stuttering. That would be speech. So that's like not a deficit of communicating, that's specifically of getting the words out, like the motor movements of the words. Language is different. So you could be deaf and use sign language, and you're not using speech, but you're using language, or like writing is language, but it's not speech. So if somebody is a child and they're not meeting their milestones, they're not meeting either their speech milestones or their language milestones or their communication or even play. So we start as early as basically almost birth, depending on what you're doing, but you can start as early as birth actually with some kids. But sometimes you'll have kids that aren't playing with others or aren't looking at people, they're not having eye contact, and that's kind of a red flag. Okay. So later on, it has more to do with like a stroke or a traumatic brain event, traumatic brain injury, TBI it's called, some sort of big thing that happens to the brain or some sort of disease. So basically it can be a lot of stuff, which is kind of sad, but there are a lot of different things that can affect language, communication, speech. Yeah.
Okay.
I know, so sad, right? Sorry.
No, that's great to know.
Yeah, I was just trying to understand it a little bit better. So, what would qualify somebody as needing your help? That's all.
Yeah. Or swallowing also we do, which is a different kind of ball game, but it has the same muscles involved. So if somebody, I know swallowing, it's like, well, everyone can swallow. Fortunately, not everybody. If you have somebody who will like have a stroke or some sort of injury, sometimes they can't swallow and they're choking all the time. And then you have to work on the muscles that are swallowing. Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff. It's really kind of sad in that sense, but what I love about it is that you're helping. That's the idea is to help. But yeah, it's like things, thankfully, you don't walk around seeing people who can't swallow. So that's good. But you'll see them in, specific areas. And it's not something I ever thought about until I got into this profession. Now I think about it all the time.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about the swallowing part, like, what would, like you said, the strokes and, just the injury, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, so you could do exercises for the different muscles. You have to isolate like what part is a problem, and then you do the exercises for that.
Nice. Wow, that's incredible. You
yes.
You help people with with all that. That's great.
Thank you. It's great when you can help. Sometimes I feel like we're just like a small piece of the puzzle, and I really can't do anything, and then that kind of saddens me. I really enjoy when I can help somebody, and I love when I can see a difference. And then it's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And then if you don't see a difference, like I hate my job when I don't see a difference. I hate it because it's like banging your head against the wall and it sucks. But when you do see a difference, you're like, that's why I got into this.
Right. Yeah, you really help somebody and
Yeah, it's really
Makes you
cool.
feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like you guys are doing, actually, you guys are helping a lot of people, I think.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so
Oh
much.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
think it's
yeah,
really awesome what you're doing. I think it's amazing.
thank you. Well, it's because of great people like you,
Oh,
that come
thanks.
on and tell us about your, your business and your experiences. So that's what makes the show really. So
Man,
appreciate it.
so
Thank
Really
you.
so
awesome.
speaking about your business, what has your experience been like starting a speech language pathology business?
Okay, so that I just started. I'm excited. It's called Speech-tacular Therapy.
Spectacular, I like that.
Spectacular.
Speech-tacular. Thanks. I
Yeah,
liked it, right? It came to me.
Yeah,
I was
like
like,
that.
perfect. I'm
that's
gonna use
cool.
that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Speech-tacular. So I have worked. Well, I graduated in 2016 from grad school, and I've been working since with all sorts of different populations and settings, which by the way is really cool because you can work in a hospital, school, private clinic. Like there are lots of different places, so you're not kind of like stuck in one spot if you don't like it. So that's really cool. But I knew I'm going to be starting a business. Like that was just the thing I was going to do from the get-go. And I even, before I went to grad school, I was like, okay, what's a profession I could do online? What's a profession I could do with relatively little startup costs? Oh, look, speech therapy. So that was part of my decision too, for sure. And I think it worked out really well. So there's a lot of need. There are a lot of people who need speech therapy. Unfortunately, finding them is a little bit harder for me. So I am learning about marketing. I'm learning about how to get my name out there. Because obviously, if they don't know who you are, they're not going to be calling you. And you could be the best speech language pathologist in the world. And unfortunately, nobody knows that. So the marketing is kind of the problem. I know the customers are out there. I know there's a need. I know I can help people, and I want to help people. Like, hello, I'm here. But getting my name out there is like the big hurdle. So I did just start. Yeah. No, I mean, I think so. I'm just starting. I'm just starting out. So I'm not like, that's it, it's over. But I hope in a few months it'll be a little bit busier and I'll have a lot more clients. So that would be nice.
Nice. Yeah, it's coming though. And like you said, a lot of
Thanks.
people, need the help. So it's definitely amazing that you started this business.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, like what made you want to start the business though? It's just your love to help people.
That's a very good question because you can. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Quinn, what's
Hello.
going on?
What's up, man? You hear me?
What's up, bro?
Hi.
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely.
What made me want to start a business is just the connection to the people that you're working with. So I've worked in a lot of different settings, like I said. And the truth is there's such a need that nobody actually cares about the quality of care that you're giving. And it sucks because I've had some like kids or adults that I've had amazing progress with. I mean, adults it's a little different because they're responsible for themselves, but kids, like,
Yeah.
I've had some really great games with kids, and it's like, yes! Nobody's around to see, nobody cares, and that's it, it's over. Or like if you work in a nursing home, I've had some amazing results with some people. And again, you're just like, yes, everybody look! Crickets. Like nobody cares because it's such a business. There's so much need. It's like they just need speech therapists. They literally don't care who you are. They don't care what school you graduated from. They don't care how many years of experience. Just get in and do the job and make us money. And like, that's it. And I hate that because I want to help people. So like, it's nice to be recognized. It's nice that the product that you're putting out, people like actually appreciate. So like, as an example now that I have a few clients, like working with this one man, his wife almost was like, crying when we made this amazing progress, and that's so cool, and like you wouldn't get that necessarily. And so I guess that sounds a little bit egotistical, like I need the feedback, but I do want the people that I work with to appreciate it, and I guess I want to feel appreciated. So a little bit egotistical, I guess, now that I say it out loud, but wanted to feel appreciated.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's motivating.
Yeah, definitely. And that's great. I mean, like you said, it's like those small victories, like at least you're helping somebody and you really want to do it. And then that's what you love to do. So
exactly.
That's all that matters, really. So.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned that you went to China and France, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
and you know, you're fluent in French. So how has speaking different languages fluently helped you concerning your business?
So far, not at all. But in this area, there's a lot of Russian-speaking people, and I'm trying to get the word out. Like I said, trying to market myself. I really am trying to market myself also to the Russian community, especially parents who speak Russian to their kids, who want their kids to be, getting therapy in Russian. Like, there aren't that many Russian-speaking speech language pathologists. My family is from Russia originally, so that's why I speak it. And so that would be, in theory, like a big market that I'm kind of trying to tap. So I do need to tap that market. I'm hoping that'll help me. The French is pretty useless. Just a pretty language. I really like it. It's really beautiful. What can I say? I did have like a job that was teletherapy, and I was working with a French-speaking school in Canada. So that was nice, but it wasn't like necessary at all. Spanish would be a really good language to know. I should probably up my Spanish game at some point, but right now I just kind of need to like market myself in general. But yes, Spanish would be a really big language to know, I think, around here where I am, and probably in a lot of different places, just like Russian. It's, large communities of Russian-speaking people and large communities of Spanish-speaking people. But so far, like I said, marketing is really what I need to focus on, not speaking Spanish.
So like, okay, so like say somebody, so okay, like say for instance, I'm trying to learn like French, and like I can't pronounce like the certain, I guess my pronunciation is not correct with French. So you will help people pronounce and do that?
No, because then you wouldn't have a deficit. That would just be like you're learning something. Learning something. The difference is between, like, let's say a tutor and a speech language pathologist. So a tutor is helping somebody that doesn't have a deficit. They're just trying to learn something. Maybe it's a little hard. Maybe they need some extra help. A speech language pathologist is working with people who have actual like language deficits. There's something going on in the brain that's not allowing them to learn language in the way that we typically develop, or it was damaged in, like I said, a stroke or a car accident or something like that. So that would be like a tutor or something like that. And it's just a very different thing. We do something called accent modification. So if somebody comes to the US and they have an accent, maybe a very strong accent, they're having trouble keeping a job, people aren't understanding them, they can choose, it's not a deficit, but they can choose to see a speech language pathologist to work on their accent. But that's a little bit of an exception. And that's what in my bio I said I work with communication deficits. I don't remember exactly what I said, whatever I said, and accent reduction or modification and transgender voice therapy, because that's not a deficit, that's like a choice that people make.
Got you. Thank you for explaining that, because thank you. Dope. So I mean, what's your goals for the business? Do you have any immediate or long-term goals that you're looking at?
To make money. No, I'm kidding. I mean, to go under, to afford my rent, to like afford, stuff, that would be good. I mean, really to work less hours for more pay. Like, I have 2 small kids. It's really important to me to have time with them and not feel like I'm hustling. And that's kind of how I've been feeling. Like, the jobs I've had, it's not that they pay that little, but it's not that much for the amount of education we have and the amount of debt you go into going to grad school. Like, it's really not that much. And it's really an underpaid profession. And it's a woman-dominated profession. So I do think that has something to do with it. Like, physical therapists, there are more men in it, and it's a very comparable profession. Like, we have the same, basically, education. At least we used to. I think they changed something. But they get paid quite a bit more. And I do think it has to do with being a female-dominated profession. That's unfortunate to say if that's the case. I don't know for sure. Like, I haven't done a study on it. It's just a thought. And when you're in private practice, you have the ability to see fewer patients, dedicate so much more time to those actual patients, and be able to afford time and have more time for yourself. Like, obviously my kids are, going to be my priority.
Right. Number one, yep.
So, I know I'm jumping in. I apologize. I had some
Yes.
things going on. But let's talk about the book, The Green. What made
Thank you.
write
Yes.
the book? And,
Oh, okay.
how long did the process take?
And tell you
this is
what?
delayed. I'm sorry, this is delayed. I said,
that's okay.
yeah. How long did the process take to write the book as well?
Okay. So I have always wanted to be an author, and actually I was like, up until maybe about a year ago, I remember having this conversation with somebody on the phone, and I was like, I can't even tell you what I really want to do. And she's like, why not? And I'm like, I can't even say it out loud. Like, I'm so embarrassed, because to me it was like saying I want to be a movie star. Like, it's just such a silly like dream, you know? And I literally remember having this conversation. I was like taking a walk, and I had this conversation. I had the phone in my, Bluetooth headset, and I'm like, I can't tell you what I really want to do. And I mean, not that I don't love my job, but like, I guess my dream was to be an author. And I had started a lot of things, and they never kind of stuck, and I never really liked them. And she really encouraged me, and that was pretty much the kind of catalyst. That was the point of like, okay, you're saying I can just like write a book? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, really? She's like, yeah. And I was like, what if nobody likes it? What if it sucks? What if this? She's like, that is none of your business. You need to write what you feel. And I was like, okay. And at the time I was working at a private practice, which is like not a school, not a hospital. It's like a privately owned clinic, which was a very big clinic. It was an autism clinic, and it was very big, is big, it's still around, but they didn't have any recycling, and I just saw the amount of garbage, and like it scared me. And at the same time, I was reading this book called 101 Ways to Go Zero Waste. Do you know about the zero waste movement?
I'm not too familiar.
I'm not.
Okay, so zero waste movement is the idea of trying to make the least amount of waste you can. So like, instead of buying something in like little prepackaged like things with a bunch of wrappers, you consciously make a choice to buy bulk. So it's a lot less packaging. And then if you need little things, then you like put it into little baggies. And then instead of using just disposable baggies, you're going to use reusable baggies. Instead of using like paper napkins, you're going to use reusable napkins. Instead of regular diapers, you use cloth diapers. Basically, like anything reusable that you can do, you do. Anything you can buy less of that's prepackaged, you do, etc. And it's just like trying to do better. So it doesn't mean that like you're never going to make any waste ever. That's impossible. But the idea is to just make a less impact on the world. And actually, let me go back a little bit. What really woke up my environmental love was this movie. It was a documentary on Netflix called Cowspiracy. Have you seen it?
No.
Cowspiracy?
It sounds familiar to me, though. It is.
So it's the makers of another movie called Seaspiracy, and it talks about how eating meat, dairy. Yep. Oh, you have? Okay. So it's very similar. It's the same person. Or people, I should say, and they talk about how like the environment is impacted by what we eat and eating meat and dairy and eggs. And I was like, wait, what? And it just like flipped around my world. And so that's probably where the environmental sort of thing ignited in me. I literally became vegan after watching that movie. Like,
oh wow,
I was like, that's it. I'm vegan. And then I was vegan. I don't recommend you do that necessarily. And we were going on vacation. So I wasn't like 100%, and I'm still not 100% strict. I'm not like super strict, but I really tried just because of the impact of on the environment, along with other things. But that was a big focus of mine. And so I was at this clinic, and I'm watching this garbage like pile around me. And I watch people walking around with their like little plastic disposable, cups and this and that. And I was just like, so sad about it that people just don't care. It like deeply saddened me. And I remember talking to my husband, and I was like, what if I could make this book that's not like, this is the ways to reduce waste? Like, nobody that doesn't care is going to read that, right? Like, you don't care, you're not going to care by that. So I wanted to make a story that was like a fantasy story that kind of alluded to the environment. And I think this book ended up being a little bit more forward than I initially intended, but that's just kind of how it came. I guess I was a little more passionate than I thought. And I was like,
it's a good story.
Thank you. But that was where it really came from, just this like need to wake people up to it. And so I do want it to be really successful. Like the idea is that people read it. I mean, that was really my idea. And I wish I was as imaginative as J.K. Rowling in Harry Potter. And maybe with time I will be, because I truly admire the Harry Potter series. Like the world she built is amazing. But what if that had like some sort of message? How many people would be affected? How many people would read it and like get that message? Like that would be amazing. So that would be really my ultimate dream, is to have that kind of impact, but actually have a message in there.
Nice.
So
nice.
What do you want the reader to take away from your book?
Honestly, I would love, I'm sorry, you also asked me how long the process took, so I'll go back to that and I'll come back in just a second. The process took very little time. I was really inspired by this book. It was really quick. It was really quick. I mean, it's a pretty short book. It's a pretty short book. And I think the ending, I just didn't know how to end it. And then I did, because of events that happened, because it was very much inspired by 2020, the year 2020. But it was like, I don't know, it was a really quick, like, it flew out of me. I don't even remember writing it. It was like, I don't know, it was just very quick. So that's good, I guess. And what do I want people to get out of it? So ideally, in theory, and I know this theory went kaput once I wrote it, but in theory, I would have loved for people who have no interest in the environment to like read it as a fantasy and be like, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. But really, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think people who already don't care are going to like actually read it. I think it's more for people who are already interested in the environment. And I couldn't tone it down. Like if I toned it down, maybe, but I couldn't do it. That's not how it wrote itself. So if you will, and it wrote itself kind of crazy like that. And so it is a little bit in your face, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. And I didn't mean for it to be like that, but that is what happened. And like I said, I do feel like it almost like wrote itself. So I didn't have much say in that. So that's what happened.
It kind of broadens your imagination, because you can see as I'm reading, I can see the characters, and I can see like, you know what I mean?
Oh, good. Like so, that's awesome. Thank you. And I think the characters weren't the main point. Like, if I were to rewrite it, let's say like it went, somewhere, that would be amazing if it became very successful, very popular. And I would love to maybe like expand on the characters and juice it up a little bit. Yeah. But I just needed to, it was like an urgent message I felt like I had to get out of me. Yeah. I would love to fluff up the world that they're in. I would love to like add in more juicy details and like round out the characters and things like that. Like that would be really an awesome project, I think. But I would really like the message to get out there first.
Okay. You said it was called a 0%.
Zero waste movement.
Zero waste
movement. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that name is intimidating because it's not, you're not ever going to be at zero waste. I guess not ever. You could go live on an island and like literally make everything yourself, but don't. So I think it should be like reduced waste movement, but it's called the zero waste movement.
Got you. Zero waste movement. I have to check that out because I didn't really.
Zero got more power behind it though,
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's like real serious, like zero.
Yes,
waste.
That's true. No, I'm not zero waste by any means. I try, but like, I'm also not like, grounding my own flour or anything like that to not use the packaging. So
it's probably just to tell people just as best as you can.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that hard. Like if you plan ahead, like we use cloth napkins now. And at first I was like, cloth napkins, are you crazy? And it's just so natural now. I don't even think about it. And they're pretty and I like them. Like why not? They're absorbent. I take them with me. If we go on like a picnic, I'll take our own silverware. I won't like get plastic silverware, things like that. So I do plan ahead, but now it's kind of second nature. And at first, I guess it can be daunting, but that's why you start slow and you build it up, right? And like if I go to a restaurant and I feel like I might have leftovers, or if I'm getting takeout, then I'll try to bring my own container. But if it's like, takeout, I can't avoid it. And then there are containers that are plastic and I feel bad about it, but that's, I'm not gonna do everything at once, but I'm trying, but I really like takeout. So yeah.
Right. Especially nowadays.
I know it really started with COVID. Like we didn't do takeout that often, but it really became a thing. So unfortunately, and I'm not proud.
No, I mean you can't really. I mean, like you say, you try your best to avoid it, but
Exactly. And then we recycle, of course, but actually recycling is a bit of a hoax. It's really sad. I don't know if you want to look into this or if you want me to go into this, but recycling, like, you want to know the small percentage? It's a very small percentage of stuff that actually gets recycled. It used to be that it was sent off. All the countries, I think, don't quote me on this, but I believe like countries would send their stuff that they couldn't recycle to China, and they recycled it. And now they have enough of their own stuff, so they don't take it anymore. So a lot of stuff ends up in the garbage anyways. And people think that recycling is so great because that's how it's sold to us. It's like, reuse, reduce, recycle. Really focus on the reducing, because the recycling is not working so well. Reusing is great. If you already have it, then yeah, definitely reuse it. But really, we have to focus on reducing.
Yeah, I heard they're like in the Pacific, they got like a heap of trash. It's just floating around.
Yep, that's correct. There's a movie called A Blue Ocean. No, A Plastic Ocean. A Plastic Ocean.
Wait, you say it's in the Pacific?
It's just floating around. Right?
It's a big island of trash. It's terrible. And we eat, if you eat fish, you're eating plastic, because all the plastic, it just disintegrates into little tiny pieces. It's never gone. Then they eat it. And guess who eats it? Us.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. That DJ fish is good though. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, I understand. But it's really sad. Just like what happened.
With the hot sauce on it, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying?
Plastic fish, man.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that, but yeah, you know.
It's sad. Yeah, Plastic Ocean had me crying for a week. A Plastic Ocean. Check it out for sure.
It's on Netflix?
That one I believe is. I saw it a while ago, but I think it's on Netflix. I would not watch it again. It's too heart-wrenching for me. Maybe people who aren't as emotional can watch it. I literally cried. I literally cried during that movie. It was so sad.
That seafood one you were talking about, I seen that, and I love seafood, but it was just damn.
I know. I know. I mean, yeah.
I like seafood too. I gotta check. Well, I don't know if I should check that out.
No, if you listen, I feel like you're gonna feel some sort of way about it though.
For real?
Yeah.
I mean, at least if you're conscious, you can, make better choices. It's eye-opening. I'm sure there are some things that they probably over-exaggerate, and you probably want to look more into them. I'm sure it's not 100% unbiased true. That's not gonna happen. I know they, added for the dramatic effect, but there is at least some truth in there, and it is scary. So check it out if you
the salmon pot.
So dare. What's that?
Yeah, the salmon pot. And they said that the flesh of the fish itself, they put the coloring in it to make it look, and that was just mind blowing.
The salmon.
Yeah. I remember that. I learned at some point, and I was like, "What? That's so weird." Yeah, it's crazy. The shit. I'm sorry, I couldn't say that right. The stuff.
Yeah. There's no filter.
We are fed in our food is really scary. It's really scary. If you look at it from even a health perspective. Yeah. Ooh, that's such a downer. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, but it's the truth though, because they process a lot, and they.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm about to check those documentaries out though.
Any more sad questions? I can make anyone else cry.
No, it's not.
The sad truth.
No, it's it's educational, so.
Yes.
Hopefully people could take, that part, something from their part.
I mean, I think it's overwhelming, and I think the response of most people is I don't want to know it. I just don't want to know it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know it.
Yeah.
And so the idea of the book was, I guess, to tone it down in that sense. Again, I said it wasn't very toned down, but at least to make it a story and a little bit lighthearted and not like everyone is gonna die, like it's just too much. Like it's overwhelming. And I've spoken to people about, dairy, like this is how it impacts our environment, or eggs or meat. And a lot of times I think what people end up saying is like, yeah, but I'm not going to make an impact by not eating it. And so each person feels like I'm just a little, whatever person. Yeah. It's not a big deal. And it's kind of a way to excuse yourself and to turn your back on it and not really do anything. And it is overwhelming. Like the problems are huge. Of course, if a corporation does it versus an individual, it'll be a bigger deal. But what if a lot of individuals do it? They drive the corporation. What if people banned some certain products or boycotted them because they found out about stuff? So we can make a bigger impact as a group, but people have to feel like they're part of a group and not just, oh, like little me, I can't do anything. Like that's not going to help anyone. So, I guess that was another part of the book, is to make it not so daunting and not so like, damn, like shut up, tone it down, So I wanted it a little bit more fun for that reason.
Gotcha. It's hard. It's hard to convince people, but hopefully.
Oh yeah. I know. And again, like I said, I really don't think this is to convince people, but maybe people who already care or already like on the border. And it is kind of aimed at kids. It is like a fantasy sort of story. So I'm hoping, somebody's parents care and they show it to their kids, and now the kids have that kind of inclination or something like that. So it's not necessarily going to change anyone's mind, but maybe it'll plant a seed. Or maybe somebody's mind hasn't been made up yet, and it'll just kind of give them that extra little nudge to research something and to look it up.
Right. Definitely. No, thank you for that. Telling us about all that.
All of that.
Yes, no. I'm just saying, like, so people can check out those documentaries and know about the zero. What was it again? The
zero waste.
Zero waste.
Yes, zero waste.
Yeah, I know. Some people are interested in that, so that's good. You're shedding light on that.
Yes, I hope so. It's really eye-opening, I think.
And also get the book, The Green.
Thanks. Yes, please do. That would be awesome. The more ratings I have, the easier it is to find. So that would be really helpful.
The link is in the description, so check it out, everybody. It's a cool book. It's very different and cool. It's unique. So,
thanks.
I encourage everybody to check it out. You know what I mean? So you were saying that you wanted to expound or expand on the characters, or go into more of their story. So you have Arthur, you have author, as a title for yourself now. So do you plan on doing more books or like?
Yes, for sure. I actually have a book that I kind of started on a totally different topic.
Okay.
And in The Green, there is a little bit of this topic touched on. And it is kind of with my work from Transgender Voice that I kind of was inspired to do it, and just sort of like exploring gender roles and how biological versus cultural they are. Because a lot of it is cultural, right? Like pink for, girls and blue for boys is not biological. Nobody was born with those colors. So just kind of looking into that and exploring that. But I haven't like fully developed it yet. I'm just starting out with that story, but I kind of had the idea like already in my head for a while. And I guess, again, I think it's pretty unique. I think that's my sort of niche, is being unique. Like these are not stories I've ever seen before. And I think they come from a different perspective. Like I'm not going to be writing about like a werewolf falling in love with a vampire with shining skin or anything like that, because been there, done that, right? And I love those stories, don't get me wrong, I love that movie, but it's not mind-blowingly original. Like nobody's like, oh my god, I've never seen anything like that. So I'm going for that uniqueness, and I think that's what tends to come to me anyways. So I guess I'm kind of writing what I already feel. That seems to be what comes to me, so there we go.
Yeah, that's dope, because you were talking about J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter and all that. That was unique. Nobody really.
I know. Oh my goodness. And I know there's some controversy surrounding her now, but I'm talking about her, the author, like nothing I don't know anything about her personal life, like that, whatever. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really care. What I care about is she created this incredible magical world that is just like, you are there, you know, you are in it, and it's so complex and it's so 3D and it's amazing. And I think, like, hats off to her. Anybody who says she's not an amazing author is just jealous, I think. She is. I think she's amazing. And so I'm really inspired by that. Not that I'm saying that I'm going to be the next J.K. Rowling. Obviously, that's, you know, a far cry for or far stretch. But I'm inspired because she wrote this, like, unbelievable thing with just everything is from her imagination. So it's like pulling just nonsense out of the air and turning it into the reality, and that's cool. Like, that's amazing.
That is cool. Yep, definitely. You on your way, so just keep at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yep.
So what advice would you give for new entrepreneurs that are starting their business and like writing books? Because eventually I'm gonna be writing my book too.
Oh, fun.
Dope.
Like, I just want to just hear like what good advice you have to give. Like,
I think do what you're inspired to do, and I mean that from every aspect. So, like, don't write if you're not inspired, because it's just going to be like, not so good. It's going to take you a very long time. It's going to be like trekking through mud. Like, when you're inspired, it flows, you know? It's like all of these things. And then go back and edit it if you need. I mean, you need to edit it. Absolutely. Get a professional editor. That's for sure. I think that's like always something to do. But let it flow when you are inspired, because if you're not inspired, it's gonna read that way. And as far as businesses go, like, I don't have the, you know, business yet, really. It's just starting out. But I did just buy a course on marketing specifically. And like, I looked at, you know, several options, but this one in particular spoke to me. I don't know why, but it really spoke to me. Like, I feel it. I am so excited. I just got it. I just started the first few lessons, the first few modules that they have. But I am like certain this is what's going to make my business become a real business. I'm certain of it. And I guess I'll let you know. You can follow up with me and I'll let you know what happens. But I do think being inspired, like, I'm a really true believer in being inspired. You know how they say work hard, or don't work harder, work smarter? I think that's kind of what that means. Like, you can work really, really hard all day, every day and make minimum wage, or you can be super duper inspired and become rich by doing this thing that, like, you know, you have almost like a divine inspiration or whatever you want to call it, giving you sort of ideas. And so I'm a really big believer in that. I think it's really important to follow what you're inspired to do. So, like, if you don't feel like writing, don't. It's not going to go well.
I can say that for me, it definitely touches, you know, that topic, because whenever I write like the albums, there'll be months, there'll be weeks where I don't write anything, and then I'll just write, and it's just it comes to me. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, you hit it like right on the head with that. But,
oh, good. Yeah, no, I think that's totally true. I think the best music was probably written like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So no writer's block. When you get writer's block, just stop.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I couldn't think of an ending. Like, I couldn't think of an ending for ages. And I remember, like, going for, when I walk, that's like my time to kind of like think and like rummage around my brain and stuff. And I kept on kind of trying to think of like, how's this gonna end? How's this gonna end? How's this gonna end? And like, that's not gonna work. You know, it's gonna be like, set the intention. I actually read this somewhere or heard it somewhere. You set an intention. You say like, I'm gonna find an amazing ending for my book. And that's it. You let it go, and then you go like take a shower or something. And then it comes to you. It's like your subconscious. I remember reading this article. Your subconscious is going to work for you, and your conscious mind can't do that in the same way, because your conscious mind only processes, I think it's like 40 bits of information a minute or a second. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But your subconscious is processing so much more. And so you kind of just have to let your subconscious go. So you set an intention, and you say like, and this is not something I made up, this is what I read. You set the intention, and you just like let it go. You say, okay, like I'm going to go with the flow and I'm going to see what happens. And then you see what happens. And that for sure with this book, like it didn't take long to write, but there were periods of time where I had big gaps in the book and I like had no idea what to write in them. And I tried to force myself a few times. And then, you know, you write like a sentence and you're like, you know what?
Nah, I'm feeling it right now.
Right, exactly. And then other times you're just like, like typing. And then you look and you're like, holy moly, I just wrote like 20 pages. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's dope. You set the intention, people.
Yes, that's actually, I love the name. I love your name about intentionality, for sure. It so resonated with me. I was like, yes, intentionality, for sure.
I'm glad it did. I'm glad you wanted to come on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming on and shedding you know, light on your business, on your book. I have one more question for you.
Yes.
This is our last question.
Okay.
I'm sorry to keep you so long. But it's been dope. It's been a dope interview. So yeah, definitely. So what is your recipe to success? What is your recipe for intentionally going after success? Is it like 30 pounds of confidence, an infinite amount of God, faith? You know what I mean? Like what do you mix up, you know, for success? What do you put in that?
I really think believing in yourself is probably the most magical thing you will ever have. Like I cannot think of a more important thing than believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, like just think about the actions you take and then think about the actions you take when you do believe in yourself, even if it's delusional, you know, you're going to get farther probably. I mean, I guess if you can't carry a tune and you are trying to audition for American Idol, maybe not. But that, I think there are nuances. But I do think if you truly believe in yourself, you're probably going to find what really you're good at. Like, I don't think you would be in that position if you really believe in yourself and you're not trying to delude yourself and you're like, here are my talents and I'm going to really go for them. I do think that you're going to end up doing what you really can do, what your talent is. You're going to be drawn towards it or to it. I would definitely say belief in yourself. And that's hard. Like, it is so much easier said than done. Oh my gosh. It's hard. Like, it wavers. You really have to work at it. I know I do right now. I'm working at it a lot. And I watch a lot of inspirational YouTube stuff. Like how your thoughts attract things and how you have to sort of be in alignment with yourself and feeling good. And if you don't feel good, your whole vibration is down. And like, it kind of gets into the spiritual realm, but I really enjoy that. And I do think belief in yourself and feeling good is so important, because if you feel like crap, you're not going to make anything good. So, okay, two things: belief in yourself and feeling good. There we go. I'm done.
Dope. That's heavy.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good. That's good.
That's a recipe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a recipe right there. Yep. Well, that's heavy, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We wish you much success.
Thanks. I wish you guys much success too, because you are awesome.
We think you're awesome. You need to come back, you know, once you do the course and you got, you know what I'm saying, everything going, and come back anytime, you know.
I would love to. I would love to come back and be like, guys, I got 10,000 reviews on my book. I have so many customers. I had to hire like 10 SLPs.
Right.
I don't work anymore. No, I'm kidding.
Right. We'll both, like, hopefully we'll have 10,000 people or something, you know what I'm saying? Subscribers. Yeah.
Okay, so our intention is 10,000? Deal?
Let's go for it.
10,000? 10,000 reviews,
10,000.
10,000.
10,000. 10 G's. 10,000.
All right, I got you. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So
I can do that. All right.
So when we both hit that, we're gonna have like a 10,000 celebration or something. You gotta come on.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be dope, right?
That would be really cool. Yes, that would be very cool.
and that'd be dope. Hopefully by then we could do it in person. You know what I'm saying? Like
yes.
we'll have a little setup. You know what I'm saying?
That would be amazing. I agree. I totally agree with you.
Cool. Well,
thank
Asya,
you.
yeah, we thank you. It's been a pleasure. It was
Thank
cool.
you.
It was an amazing interview. Again, come back anytime, you know, whenever you want. Just let us know. So check out her book, The Green. It's in the description. Her business, all her info is in the description.
Thank
you again. It was a pleasure. Bros,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we thank you. Anything else you gotta say, bros? Or?
No.
Yeah.
Episode 8.
Said it all.
Yes.
I love the energy. What you're doing is very important. So
Thank
I'm
you.
pretty passionate at that. Keep
Thanks.
keep
I think
going.
what you guys, like I said, I think what you're doing is amazing. You're like trying to lift other people up. Like, how can you go wrong?
Well, yeah, we're trying to lift people, and you actually help people. So go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so,
I agree with you.
Yeah, so
Very
that's
cool.
what we're trying to do. So it was great, interview. So everybody check out Asya. Everything is in the description for her links, her book, everything. So go check her out. It was a great interview. Great show.
So
Number eight. We thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
All
it was great. Well, Asya, thank you again.
Thank you.
This is it. Recipe for Intentionality. Another great one. Another great cook up. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, I guess we out, everybody. Right?
Bye. Have a good night.
Oh, wait. I said, but.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta do it right.
What did you say?
Right out the window, yo, I cannot pretend, oh yeah, right on for the darkness, that's your candlelight vigil, nigga, hey, and they say, yo, do y'all,